Action here in the B-League continues this Sunday afternoon as the defending champions Alvark Tokyo host San and Neophoenix. This is the second of their back-to-back encounters this weekend. Anthony Suntay here together with Enzo Flojo. Enzo, this will be another great game for everybody to watch here in the B-League.
Well, definitely, Anthony. We have teams that are very, very exciting who are going to play each other. Although, of course, this is a tussle between teams from contrasting contexts, so to speak, as we'll probably see later when we see the standings. You have on one end Tokyo Alvark, defending champions of the B-League. They have the reigning B-League MVP in Daiki Tanaka, and this is also the reigning FIBA Asia Champions Cup champions on one end of the court here in Tokyo. And on the other side, of course, the San and Neophoenix, a team that a lot of Filipinos have been following very, very closely. But this is a team that, despite the talent and size they have there, they're really grasping to get wins. They're currently 10th place in the West Division of the B-League.
Well, unfortunately for San and Phoenix, they started the season not with a complete cast. A lot of their imports came in trickles. They didn't start out with a full squad. In fact, Thirdy Ravena just actually joined them a week and a half ago. And so only now do they have the full complement of players. In fact, they are really not complete because Nenad Miljanovic is also still in the injured list. So maybe Sanen can look at the fact that they are trying, they're grueling out some wins, but at the end of the day, Enzo, they still have a 2-12 card.
Well, that's true. They've been actually quite competitive in the last handful of games. We've seen this team talking about the Neophoenix, except, of course, for the game yesterday where it was a very lopsided affair, as you see the highlights here, between the Alvark and Neophoenix. They had a lot of trouble stopping the penetration, in particular from that guy right there, Daiki Tanaka, the MVP of the B-League.
Well, Tanaka was very impressive. One of the main reasons why he is a stalwart of the Japan national squad. And again, they expect him to really be able to deliver here today. And he definitely should be a marked man defensively here for Sanen.
Well, that's true. Tanaka last time was just absolutely splendid. If I'm not mistaken, he scored a season-high 21 points last night against San, and the Neophoenix just had a lot of trouble containing him and the rest of the Alvark. Even if, that big guy right there, Kyle Hunt, had a good game for San.
And when you talk about Tanaka, it's not just the points that he can bring to the table. He likes to get his teammates involved. He had a few assists yesterday. And so he makes sure that he's able to give the team exactly what they need. And more than anything, they needed a win yesterday, Enzo, and they got it.
Well, that's true. Remember, Anthony, that Tokyo Alvark, even if they're the defending champions of the B-League, right now, as we saw in the standings a while ago, they're actually sitting at 5th place in the Eastern Division of the B-League. And like what we talked about pre-game, only the top 3 teams in each division have a sure spot in the playoffs for the second round. So the Alvark are still shooting for that top 3 spot in their division, and they need all the wins they can get to be able to secure that spot. And they're going to lean on a lot of guys like Tanaka, like the guy you see on screen, Seiya Ando, also a mainstay in the national team of Japan.
For all the fans that are listening and don't really follow the B-League, what happens is the top 8 teams actually will make it to the playoffs. Now what happens is the top 3 teams per record, per conference will make it, and then the next 2 with the best record make it in. So that will be a total of 8. So just like what Enzo was mentioning, the Alvark have to be able to move further up in the standings just to assure themselves of making it to the playoffs. We still have a whole lot to play. We do have 60 games to be played here in the season, and we're not even 1/4 of the way. But this is the matchup, Enzo, that a lot of people will be looking at for today's matchup.
For sure. I for one, am excited to see how Thirdy will be adjusting to the matchups against the wingmen that the Alvark are going to throw at him. I expect that Tanaka's going to be there primarily, matching up against him. Maybe even the import, Deshaun Thomas, also, who had a season high, I think 19 points yesterday against San N. So it'll be interesting how Thirdy tries to bounce back in this particular game.
Enzo, I had a nice chat with Thirdy yesterday evening after his match, and he was telling me, unfortunately, he would have wanted to come up with a better game, but there are games like that for any player. And he just figured it was an off day. Nothing was clicking as far as he was concerned. He was trying to do the best he could, but he was just glad to have that game over with. And he said, I want to go to sleep, and I want to be able to look forward to a better showing here today. It is a difficult situation for him because he mentioned to me the fact that he has really not been able to play back-to-back games in any time in his collegiate career. You never play back-to-back games in college, but here, obviously, that's the way it's set up. You play on Wednesdays, then you play on a Saturday, Sunday, then Saturday, Sunday are back-to-back against the same team. But still, he is not used to playing one day after he just finished the previous day.
That's true, and that's what a lot of Filipino fans in particular have to really take into account, Anthony, when they try and see how Thirdy is playing. Remember that in the collegiate league where Thirdy played for 5 seasons, you play only 14 games in the season and then maybe a maximum of 4 or 5 games in the playoffs. In our professional league in the Philippines, you don't play 60 games, definitely, and you don't play back-to-backs for sure. If my memory serves me right, the only time I've seen Thirdy play back-to-back games was, when he represented the country, I think in one of the international tournaments, I think in 2018 or 2017.
That's correct.
So it's new territory for him to be playing at this level in this kind of context out of the country, and to play an elite team like the Tokyo Alvark. It's a whole new ball game, literally and figuratively, for Thirdy. I mean, the first 2 opponents that he played against, Shimane Susano Magic and the Osaka Edessa, they were good teams. But again, they're not Toyota Alvark. They're not the defending champions. And to go against the Alvark on the road on a back-to-back, it'll take a lot, out of you. It's going to be a big challenge for him. And let's see how he bounces back here.
And it's not like we're making excuses for Thirdy, Ravena, but Thirdy has actually also talked about the fact that he has not played 5-on-5 basketball in over 8 months prior to landing here in Japan because of the pandemic situation. Basketball was not allowed in the Philippines, and so his first taste of real basketball action was after his 14-day quarantine in Japan, Enzo.
Yeah, that's true. And, knowing Thirdy, he tried to keep himself in shape, in condition, in good physical condition to be able to play. But again, it's different when you're actually on the floor, on the hardwood, playing 5-on-5 intense, high-level basketball with other high-level athletes. And like what you said, for a good 8 months, he wasn't able to do that in a very intense way. And then to compound that, getting over to Japan and then having to serve that 2 weeks of quarantine right before you plunge into action, it really makes a big difference. But hopefully, these first handful of games, this is like the break-in period for Thirdy. In a way, a break-in period also for San En, because they have a new import in Thirdy. Kyle Hunt I think Kyle Hunt's only his 4th or 5th game as well. So it's a break-in period for that whole team. Hopefully, slowly but surely, hopefully this team can find its bearings, make a good run, and challenge for a playoff spot as we wind down the B.LEAGUE season eventually.
That's a good point, Enzo. Actually, Kyle Hunt has only played 5 games. That includes yesterday. So today, only his 6th time to step on the floor here for San En Neophoenix. Not to mention the fact that even their coach, Branislav Vicentich, was not here at the beginning of the season. So he came in midway, a few games into the season. So he's still trying to get his system in place. So a lot of adjustments for the players and even the coach himself.
Well, that's very true. On the other end, it's a complete contrast because the Alvark, a lot of the players on this team have been together for a long time. This team has represented Japan in the FIBA Champions Cup, I think, for 2 seasons or 2 years already. Even their head coach has been in Japan for a very, very long time already. So, we're talking about Luka Pavicevic. So, Toyota Alvark, a very solid team, very experienced, championship caliber team, obviously. It's going to be a very, very big test for Thirdy and the rest of the San En Neophoenix. But the Neophoenix have a lot of, what we call explosive mechanics on their side. Also, Anthony, Thirdy, of course, is a very explosive player. I'm sure he's raring to bounce back here. There are 2 imports as well. Kyle Hunt, of course, who's a veteran of the FIBA 3x3 competitions. He had a double-double last night. Can do a lot of damage. And of course, their other import, Stevan Yelovac, who reminds me a lot of another PBA player from back home, Mick Penisi, because he can shoot the 3. So hopefully, all those 3 guys, the 3 leaders of San En Neophoenix, will be able to click today and give the Alvark a good challenge here in Tokyo.
Here we go, the second of our back-to-back match. Alvark Tokyo up against San En Neophoenix. Alvark starting out with Ando. They have Kikuchi, Takeuchi, of course Tanaka, and Alex Kirk as their import. On the other side, the visitors, we start out with Thirdy Ravena, who makes his first incursion and gets the first basket of the ball game.
Man, and that's what we want to see. We want to see a lot more aggression, a lot more energy coming out of Thirdy and the Neophoenix here.
Neophoenix also starting out with Kawashima, Suzuki, Hunt, and Yelovach, their regular starting five. Nice bounce pass, pocket pass, works!
Good chemistry right there by the Tokyo Alvark. Good pass from Alex Kirk down to Seiya Ando, ties up the game.
And that's what you're talking about, familiarity, Enzo, between these players from Tokyo. Putback's not going to work there for Kyle Hunt, but he will head to the line for 2 free throws.
And I like this guy, their big guy, Kyle Hunt. He's literally a hulking presence on the floor. He gobbles up those rebounds like candy. And like what we saw last night, he can hold his own against Alex Kirk down low. Statistically, he actually outplayed Alex Kirk last night. But the thing is, a lot of the other players on the Neophoenix really just have to step up and be able to help Kyle Hunt. He had 28 points and 11 rebounds last night against the Alvark.
Sanen will need another explosive performance from that gentleman, and he hits his 2 free throws, a 2-point advantage enjoyed early on here by Sanen. But the problem with Sanen, Enzo, is the fact that they can stay in step with Tokyo, but they just can't sustain their firepower for 4 quarters.
And Anthony, that speaks to the depth of this Tokyo Alvark team. We're talking about, you look at the starting five. They have Alex Kirk, former NBA player, and they have 4 players with national team experience. As we see, Shohei Kikuchi here with an offensive foul. Good defensive stance right there by Thirdy Ravena.
Well, a very good start here for Thirdy. As we mentioned at the top of the program after that chat I had with him yesterday, he's just so excited to get back onto the floor because he wants to redeem himself from that very dismal performance by anybody's standards, and especially by his.
That's true. And, for people who've been following Thirdy's career ever since high school, as we see him with a good drive, just misses the shot. He's someone who really likes to bounce back from setbacks. And definitely, knowing him, he's fired up for today's game after losing last night.
Kirk, his shot is going to be short. Yelovach to the board, and here comes Ravena and company. Ravena's being a little bit more aggressive. A foul is going to be called there on that drive. That foul is going to be called on Kikuchi.
And if you're Coach Vicentich of the Neophoenix, you want to see this kind of aggression from Thirdy Ravena. You want to see him make a lot more effort to penetrate that Alvark defense, challenge their wing defenders, and eventually maybe get a foul or 2. And he's been successful so far at doing that, with 8:24 left in the first quarter.
Quick substitution here as Sudat will check in because Kikuchi has actually picked up 2 quick fouls.
And I think another one here, Anthony, is I think Neophoenix has made a more concerted effort to try to get Ravena involved in the offense in a more deliberate way. It's paying off so far. Like what you said, Kikuchi on the bench now with 2 fouls, and the guy who subbed in for him also seems like he's been tagged for foul as well.
And you saw on your screens earlier, Coach Luca complaining because his squad, with not even 2 minutes gone here in the match, already has 4 team fouls. Jumper from the side is going to work there for Suzuki.
And that's great for Neophoenix if they can get a lot of production from guys like Suzuki, from guys like Kawashima. That's going to be a lot of bonus points, so to speak, for Sanen moving forward in this game.
Here comes their main man, Daiki, who will be fouled. He's going to be a handful for any defender, Enzo.
Oh man, yeah, Daiki Tanaka has a good size for a wingman, about 6'4". Definitely can shoot like what we saw yesterday. Great penetration, great quickness off the first step and off the dribble as well. He's a handful for anyone in Japan and even in the entire Asian continent for that matter.
Thirdy with a board. Off and running once again. Still with possession, he's going to lose it. Daiki trying to set things up for his team as he likes to do. Kirk lurking below. They still don't get the ball to him. Inside, outside basketball, and a foul is going to be called. Stopping proceedings. That's going to be the first on Kawashima.
I actually thought Sanen had a pretty decent defensive stand right there. They were making timely rotations even when the Alvark were making their outlet passes, but that foul right there, just bailing out the Alvark, so to speak.
Check that. That's a second foul on Kawashima. That's why he will have to be rested. So one of the key players for Sanen also in foul trouble early here in the first. That's going to be an illegal pick, and the ball will be going the other way.
And again, defensively, the energy has been there for the Neophoenix, forcing that offensive foul from Alex Kurt. Good start for San, and hopefully, like what you said, Anthony, earlier, hopefully they can sustain this, because that's been the big question for the Neophoenix. They've had a lot of spurts where they have been excellent on both sides of the basketball, but against a team as elite as the Alvark, they have to be able to sustain that for the entire game.
Another jumper there for Suzuki. He's got 4 points in the ball game.
Sweet shot from Suzuki. Reminds you of another diminutive Japanese guard, Yuta Tabuse, who used to play for the Phoenix Suns in the NBA.
Definitely Tabuse, a fan of a lot of these young guards in Japan today. 8-4 is our tally. The visiting Sanen with a 4-point edge. Here's Yelovac, his first attempt at the basket. And a foul is going to be called. That's going to be the 5th team foul. That means that's going to be free throws coming up here from Sanen.
Well, Yelovac's not the quickest guy off the dribble, as you can see there, but doing a good job, knowing that Joji Takeuchi was matched up against him, and Takeuchi just reaching in. Not a good defensive stance from the veteran big man from the Alvark, and now Sanen will be shooting penalty free throws every time they force a defensive foul on the Alvark. Very, very good sign for the Neophoenix. If they can score without, time running, and all those things are going to be, and those are good positive factors for this team, as they're holding a 5-point lead right now against Tokyo.
Takeuchi's talking to the referee saying, why is Yelovac shooting those free throws? Well, actually, it was Yelovac who had the ball. It was Yelovac who went to the basket, and it was Yelovac that was fouled.
That's true, and remember, that was already their 5th foul, if I'm not mistaken, so they are the penalty. There should be no surprise why he's shooting free throws right now.
And now they're going to go to the replay just to double check exactly who should be on the free throw line. But the question is, they've already given the ball to Yelovac. He has already made 1 free throw, Enzo. The question should have been made before they gave him the ball and before he made that attempt and the basket. Here it is once again. Taking it strong to the basket. He got fouled. Unless they called the foul on Suzuki up high on the left. There you can see it on the top of your screens. So they're calling the foul on Ando. But there was also a foul down low on Takeuchi.
So that should have been clarified by the officials right there, because if it's a foul on, say, Ando, then it should be Suzuki actually shooting those free throws and not Yelovac. But at least from our vantage point, while the play was happening, it seemed like the foul was called on Takeuchi in that particular sequence.
Well, they're going to sort things out, and they say that the shot of Yelovac will not count. The foul was on Ando. So now Suzuki should be heading to the line for 2 free throws.
Yeah.
But regardless, at the end of the day, it's 2 free throws here for Sanen. That is for sure.
That's true.
And Yelovac is complaining, saying, but I just made a shot.
Yeah, so this will be interesting.
So they're going to take away the free throw.
Yeah, I'm assuming the officials will be forced to kind of take away the point from Sanen.
But they're giving possession to the other side, Enzo.
This is interesting, though. Or did they call a travel on Yelovac? So I'm not sure what that was.
But on the board, we still have the 5 team fouls. We'll see if we can sort this out as the game goes on. But the ball belongs now to Tokyo.
We'll see how this goes.
Can they take advantage? Trying to cut into the lead here of Sanen. Takeuchi. Excuse me, that was Ando. No, that was Daiki.
That was Tanaka with the shot.
Yes.
Usually he's very potent, taking those mid-range shots, but so far, no points hit for Daiki Tanaka. Oh.
Yelovac short on that 3. Off and running once again is Tokyo. Nice curl, nice find, extra pass. Open shot. And that's money.
Good ball movement right there for the Tokyo Alvark, being able to find the open man after good kick-out passes, and that's the way you got to play for the Alvark against a team that's scrambling on defense like Sanen.
And Suda has got to be a marked man because he's got one of the highest percentages from 3 in the league here today. Suzuki will kick it out. Shot clock. They didn't realize it until it was too late. 24-second shot clock violation.
A good defensive standard from the Alvark. I think that nice three was able to really fuel their energy on defense. We'll see how Sandin responds on the defensive end right here, but Alvark on a bit of a run right now.
Seems like they do have the momentum on their side. Two-man game. Kirk will bring it in. Almost lost it. They'll regain possession. Quick double. Kirk kicks it out. Another three on the way. Back-to-back threes here for Tokyo.
And again, we're talking about the depth of this Alvark team, Anthony. Even at their second unit, they have guys who can score in bunches, and that's what we're seeing right now as we see Kyle Hunt with a nice pick-and-roll play right there for San Neophoenix.
His first field goal, he's got 2 free throws earlier. He's got 4 points in the ball game. We are tied at 10. Early goings here of quarter number 1. Kirk asking for it. Eventually gets it on the block. Wanted to challenge Hunt. It's going to be a push. The first personal on Kyle Hunt.
And Kyle Hunt, 1-on-1, he should be able to hold this on his own against Alex Kirk. But the difficulty or the danger there is Kirk's so good, so savvy at trying to fish for those fouls. And Kyle Hunt's just so important as a player for San Neophoenix. They cannot afford to sit him if he gets into foul trouble.
Regular substitution pattern as Terazuno comes in to spell Suzuki. Back to the post. Kirk once again. Quick double. Force the extra pass. That's 3 straight three-pointers. Deshaun Thomas there hitting from the corner.
And the Alvark, they're having a hard time scoring down low. So their shooters are doing their jobs hitting from the perimeter right now.
Nice setup there. Kyle Hunt up to the task. He's got 6 markers.
That's what you want to see more of if you're a San Neophoenix fan. A lot more penetration and a lot more involvement from your big guys like Kyle Hunt. He really needs to get going here for the Neophoenix.
Daiki will be fouled by Ravena on that jumper.
And I kind of feel like Thirdy Ravena is probably really aching to try and contain Daiki Tanaka, knowing that Tanaka is one of the top wingmen in Asia and the reigning B.LEAGUE MVP. But Tanaka just so savvy as well, getting that foul on Thirdy.
Thirdy will pick up his first personal as Tanaka heads to the line for 2 free throws.
Tanaka, Anthony, like I said, is one of the most explosive offensive wingmen in Japan, if not in the entire continent. We're talking about an MVP in the B.LEAGUE, an MVP in the FIBA Asia Champions Cup from 2018. He's been a mainstay of the Japanese national team as far back, I think it's 2013, when we hosted the FIBA Asia Cup in Manila. He was already there. And this is a guy who's been a bona fide superstar in the Japanese basketball scene for the past several years.
Well, he's got so much experience in those shoulders of his already. And that's why his squad, Tokyo, always relying on him to handle that basketball as much as he can. Terazuno trying to set up the offense. We'll get it back. 2-man game here with Hunt. And that's going to be free throws for Terazuno Shuto.
I'm actually not sure if they called it an offensive foul, Anthony. I'm not sure if that was an offensive foul or if Terazuno stepped on the line in that one, because I think the Alvark will be getting possession. Yes, they have the ball right now.
Some late whistles being blown here by officials, but nonetheless, as you mentioned, Tokyo now with the possession, trying to build on that 2-point advantage. Looking for their 4th straight three-pointer. It's down!
And that's why the Alvark are just such a dangerous team. They have so many weapons, whether in that starting unit or on their bench in that second unit. That's their 4th straight three-pointer. And even if they've been doing a decent job rotating on defense, just 1 second too late in rotating on those shooters, and Tokyo is going to make you pay.
I'm quite surprised that Coach Branislav has not sued for time. he needs to be able to make sure that the defense is able to adjust to that three-point shooting, which is impeccable at this point for Tokyo.
That's true. I mean, it's not the second or third pass that's killing San, and it's actually the fourth and fifth pass after that. And Tokyo just such a well-oiled offensive machine. They've been getting to those spots, getting the ball to those shooters in those spots at the right time, at the right moment, almost every time the last 5 plays down the court.
A poor foul there from San En. On the other end, we'll send Zach Baranski now on the free throw line. Both teams now in the penalty for the final 3 minutes, 7 seconds of period number 1.
Baranski, of course, like what you were talking about pregame, Anthony, he's considered, I think, a naturalized player for the Alvark, so we can maybe consider him, strictly speaking, not in the same way as the other imports in this particular matchup right here. So it's interesting what kind of impact he's going to have here for the Alvark.
And as you mentioned that, there's going to be a foul away from the basketball, which means free throws coming up here for San En. Some points they badly need at this stage because it seems like they've been stuck at 12 for quite a while.
That's true. I mean, they had a nice 8-4 lead early on. Good start, good energy on both ends to begin this game. But Tokyo Alvark, they are an elite team for a very good reason. And that good reason is they can respond to that kind of challenge. They responded to that slow start that they had by getting their bench unit involved and hitting those threes. And now they're up by 3. But good free throws right there from San En to try still, stay within striking distance of the Alvark.
First couple of points there for the big man Jelovac. Pass inside goes awry. Nice transition defense here for the defending champions. They get back there. Azuno for 3. Short. Jelovac. The defensive rebound, but he gets stripped.
Well, if you're San En, you want to see a bit more deliberate rotation of the basketball, more sets, I guess, on offense. Right now, they're a little disorganized on the offensive end. Talking about the Neophoenix.
Quick ball movement once again. It has been working here for Tokyo. They settle inside. Nice strip. And here come the visitors. Still down by 3. Final 2 minutes of period number 1. Jelovac forcing the issue, gets a basket.
Well, good recognition right there by Jelovac. He was going up against a guy who was around 5 or 6 inches shorter than him. One dribble to the right and just pulling up over his defender. Good shot from Jelovac, trimming that lead down to just 1 point.
A minute and a half remaining. Nice ball movement once again, but it's a steal from Terazuno. Will he take it all the way? He tries. Overshoots. The ball will stay with the visitors. Looking for a secondary break. Now they'll set it up. Hunt down low. Baby hook doesn't work. Gets an offensive rebound, but he might be called for a push.
And yeah, you called it, Anthony. I thought that was a good move from Kyle Hunt. He just could not finish with that baby hook. And the ref just caught his right forearm, I guess, as he was pushing off to get that offensive board. Here he is taking that baby hook with his right hand, pushing off to get that rebound on the smaller Deshaun Thomas.
That's going to be a problem here for that gentleman right there as he picked up his second personal foul. He will have to sit on the bench, and now Jones will head to the line for 2 free throws.
And that's something that San En did not want to see. Kyle Hunt getting his second foul before the first quarter even ended. And again, that's going to be a big question mark for the second quarter if he's going to be put in at all, and if he is going to be put in back in the game for how many minutes? Because again, he's nursing foul trouble already.
He's going to be strapped defensively. Nothing he can do on one end. They will need his firepower in the offensive end, though. Let's see what happens and what Coach Branislav opts to do. Just a 1-point lead enjoyed here by Tokyo as we approach the final minute. Once again, going back into Jelovac. Jelovac with a jumper. Just short. Under a minute to play. Nice move there by Baranski. Gives it up. Kirk, who has just re-entered the ball game. So many offensive rebounds, and the third one works here for the Toyota Tokyo Alvark squad.
Well, Jones was at the right place at the right time for that offensive rebound and doing a good job cleaning up the glass and putting the ball back in. And Alvark, just when the Neophoenix are knocking on the door, they hit a basket again to try and put a bit more distance against the Neophoenix.
On the other end, Yelovac gets a putback.
And the size of Yelovac is giving problems to the Tokyo Alvark. He's not the quickest guy, not the most athletic guy on the floor, but his size and his timing of those rebounds makes him such a dangerous rebounder for Sanin.
Offensive foul is going to be called on Shota Tsuyata. Watch it there. Dipping that shoulder.
Yeah, easy call for the referee there on the offensive foul and charging call. And now with 1.2 seconds remaining, it's going to be unlikely, but the Neophoenix have a chance to maybe do something interesting here.
1.2 seconds remain. Ravena knew it. He throws it up. Just hits the board. And that is where the first 10 minutes of action will end. It is 19 for Tokyo, 18 for the visiting Sanin Neophoenix. Welcome back to the arena. Tachihi here for B.LEAGUE action coming your way as Tokyo hosts Sanin Neophoenix. Anthony Suntay with the call here together with Enzo Flojo. 19-18 is our tally, and a foul is going to be called on Ravena. That's going to be second. So now two of the imports of Sanin will be in foul trouble.
That's a bit more trouble right there for the Neophoenix. Kyle Hunt already with 2 fouls, and Coach Vicentich definitely not happy with that call as Thirdy Ravena also gets foul number 2. They're trailing by just 1 point, but if Thirdy has to sit as well, that's going to be a lot of big trouble for Sanin.
Offensive rebound for Kirk. He just bullies his way inside for 2.
And Atsuya Ota, even if Ota's a national team center for Japan, just doesn't have enough muscle, I think, to be able to contend with Kirk, who, like what you said, Anthony, he's a bully down there in the block.
Not to mention, Enzo, he had the proper positioning for rebound, but he just got bullied. Jumper is not going to work there for Yelovac. Off and running once again is the Tokyo squad looking to increase their lead. It's up to 3 at the moment. Nice move by Tanaka. Telegraph pass, and here come the men in white. Suzuki will kick it out, looking for Yelovac. Shota cups out. Trying to look inside. There is no double. There's a quick double there from Terazuno. Good defensive stance put up there by Sanen.
Actually thought that was a good move by the Alvark to put the ball in Joji's hands, since Thirdy was the one on him. Thirdy giving up about 6 inches on Takeuchi, but good defensive form on the low block by Thirdy Ravena.
Baranski now will wait for his teammates. They want to set this one up. 1.5 minutes gone here in the second period. And a foul is going to be called on Terazuno. That is 2 quick fouls now called on the visiting squad here in the second period.
And the tables have turned, Anthony. I mean, remember the first quarter, it was actually the Alvark who were on the receiving end of, those quick foul calls. But this time around, it's a Neophoenix. And now, Coach Vicentich has been forced to make adjustments, dig deeper into his second unit to be able to, rest the people with foul trouble right now.
That's going to be the third foul on, as you mentioned, Atsuya Ota. National team center, but he has his hands full as well, trying to guard Kirk.
Well, Atsuya Ota and on the other end, Joji Takeuchi are 2 mainstays of the national team front line for Japan. Takeuchi, of course, much more experienced and much more productive member of the national team. But Ota can hold his own as well in terms of defense and rebounding.
Nice rebound there by Ravena.
And you want to see a lot more of that from Thirdy if you're a Sanen fan, and definitely if you're Coach Vicentich. You want to see him get more rebounds, get more production under his name, especially after only scoring 4 points in their loss last night against this very same Tokyo Alvark squad.
Still trailing by 3. Exactly 8 minutes remain here in the half. Okada with the basketball. Was asking for it back here. Suzuki back in the game. Suzuki likes to be able to create for his teammates, but that time kisses it off the glass.
I'm not sure that was the actual first option shot that Coach Vicentich was hoping to get out of that set play, but if it goes in, they're going to take it for sure.
The lead has been cut down to 1. It has been a competitive ball game, much more competitive than it was yesterday. Kirk can hit that shot from 3 and does!
You were right on the money there, Anthony. This guy, Alex Kirk, he's a good rebounder, strong guy under the basket, but like what you said, if you leave him open, he can hurt you from downtown, and he did exactly that in that particular sequence.
Already 4 3-pointers here in the first half for the Tokyo squad, and that has helped them build this lead. Nice incursion there from Suzuki as he picks up a foul there from Shota. That is Shota. Tsuyama. And Tsuyama will hit the bench.
If you're Coach Vicentich here, you want to see exactly what Suzuki did. You want to see your players challenge that defense of the Alvark by penetrating against that defense. But it might be better to mix it up a little bit. Last 2 times down the floor with Suzuki penetrating. You want to see a lot more penetration from that guy right there, Thirdy Ravena.
Ravena. Nice 3. Takes it inside for 2.
And that's really the strength of Thirdy. One of his main strengths is really getting that basketball in motion, attacking the basket with aggression, like what you saw in that sequence, getting that basket right there.
What I like, there's another 3-pointer. That's the 5th 3-pointer now for Tokyo, and they're really lighting it up from the outside.
And that's Joji Takeuchi right there. He and his twin brother, Kosuke Takeuchi. Kosuke, of course, plays for another team in the B-League, but both of those guys, they're big, but they can hit those outside shots.
Nice recovery. Shot clock is at 4. Kawashima will have to create. Step back jumper. Not going to work.
Forced shot right there. Good defense from the Alvark in that sequence.
Inside, Kirk. How do you stop a 7-footer when he's inside that paint? Perfect pass there. And right now we've got a timeout on the floor.
You just love it when your big man is running the floor like that.
You want to feed him, as you said, Enzo. We're going to take a break. We'll be back for more action here in the B-League in just a bit. 6 minutes, 19 seconds remaining here before the break. It's a 7-point lead enjoyed by Tokyo at 29-22. Anthony Sutai here with the call together with Enzo Flojo. Jumper once again. That is trying to go to glass is Suzuki. Doesn't work.
And I like the energy coming out of Suzuki, but again, if you're San and you want to see a lot more ball movement, especially out of your point guard in that particular kind of play.
That's another 3-pointer. Already 6 in the ball game. That one courtesy of Kojima.
That the Alvark are just shooting the lights out right here. They're playing on their home court, of course. So it's not totally unexpected, but the way they're shooting it right here, they're just leaving San in the dust in the second quarter.
Ravena short on that jumper, and he's clutching onto his ankle.
And you don't want to see that, Anthony. Hopefully nothing too serious, nothing serious at all. We see there as he fell down, it looks like he may have stepped on someone's foot, but it's a good sign he's walking on his own power right now. But still, you don't like the way that Thirdy's walking to the bench right there.
The trainers are going to be able to check on him. We might not see him anymore until the third period. Let's see what transpires and what report we get from down on the floor. Kawashima, nice pocket pass. Nice spin there by Hunt. Overshoots though.
And that's the bread and butter for Kyle. He does that so well. That top of the key pick and roll. Good move right there on the spin as well. Just could not finish.
Tanaka to the wings, looking for another 3-pointer. The 7th now in the ball game, and we're only in half number 1.
And that was Jones with that big 3. Again, we were talking about the playmaking ability of Daiki Tanaka, and we saw it right there. Last night he scored a season-high 22 points. Now he's doing well facilitating for Toyota.
Inside incursion for Kawashima doesn't work. I thought they were going to stop for another 3, but this time they're opting to move it around once again. Nice extra pass from Tanaka. That jumper from 3, a little bit too strong. But good transition defense coming back down from Kojima.
And what I've noticed here, Anthony, is when San-In is in transition, most of the time they kind of hurry their decision making, and that's resulted more often than not in either turnovers or missed shots for the Neophoenix.
Where is the app that you were using? You have to go back to that again. Go to the browser. You have to type it. What was the app's name? It's not there. It's not there. Go to the browser. Wala na. That's not there. You open a new one. Where is it? Where's the app? Diba? Here.
Welcome back to the arena. Tachihi here as we take a look at Thirdy Ravena being worked on by the trainers. And he did step on the foot of Kevin Jones in that last offensive pattern that they had.
It's not a very good sign when you see.
Yes.
Yeah, not a very good sign, Anthony, when you see your player, his shoe taken out and the trainer just really clutching at his ankle like that. But we're hoping for the best and hoping we see him get back on the floor here in this game.
They need his presence. He's had a better showing here today. Yelovach in the ball game. Yelovach plays major minutes for San-In. That's a quick turnover.
Pass,
Kawashima.
poor execution. Rare time that the Alvark have executed poorly on offense right there. A very, very nonchalant pass right there. I think that was Jones who made that pass, and a foul here forced on Tokyo Alvark.
You're not quite sure if Suda didn't expect that pass, but he was cutting to the other end and the ball just passed him. 4 minutes and change. Suzuki trying to use the Hunt pick. Hunt gets it back. Hunt takes it strong inside. Basket and one opportunity here for Kyle Hunt.
And again, that's what we were talking about, Anthony. That really is his strength, diving towards the basket, towards the lane, off that top of the key screen. That's Kyle Hunt. What his favorite move right there. And we saw whenever he does that, he has a good chance, if not making the basket, fishing for the foul. In this particular sequence, he did both. He was able to get that baby hook off the glass, fish for the foul. Now a chance to trim this down to a 10-point deficit only.
Still a 10-point margin enjoyed here by Tokyo. It was really nip and tuck in the first 10 minutes of play, but slowly but surely that 3-point shooting has really helped Tokyo build this lead. Inside incursion, a little bit too strong, but there's another putback. Lead is back up to 12.
Kevin Jones with another good play right there, putting it back. He now has 7 points, and that's his second offensive rebound, if I'm not mistaken.
Here they come once again, the defending champions. Look at the patience being shown. Extra pass, Baranski for three. A little bit off to the right.
And even if the Alvark did not make that shot, if you're a basketball fan, you gotta love that kind of ball movement. Every time, your team swings it from side to side, from one corner to the other, with that kind of smooth passing right there.
At this point, they can be patient. They've got the lead. They know they've got the superior firepower.
It's a little bit risky right now, Anthony, for Coach Vicentovic, just putting Kyle Hunt on the floor. But again, he has no choice because Thirdy's injured. Nothing else is really clicking for San En as of this point. So even if Kyle Hunt already has 2 fouls, you have no choice but to rely on him to try and carry this team's offense here in the second quarter.
I think it's a good gamble because if you sit him down and you bring him in the third, as he gets that quick layup inside, he might be playing a game that's already down by 20.
That's true. And as we see, he's so effective whenever he dives towards that basket. And, Kyle Hunt, by my count, already, I think he has like 8 or 10 points already, if I'm not mistaken.
He's got 8 markers.
There you go.
We'll take a break. We'll be back for more action in the B-League in just a bit. Two minutes, 52 seconds remaining here as Tokyo hosts San En, and they're up 37-27. Officially, Kyle Hunt with 9 markers already in this ballgame.
And he's been one of the few bright spots for San En here. Speaking of bright spot, that defensive sequence was not a bright spot for San En. Daiki Tanaka beeline to the basket after that wing screen right there.
That was a round-robin layup, and everybody on San En just watched him hit that shot. Nice incursion inside. Yelovach! Where does the possession arrow point to?
It's going to go San En's way, Anthony. And even if Yelovach kind of short-armed that baby hook. Still good ball movement from San En, one of their better run plays compared to most of the other plays they've run in this game so far. Hopefully we'll see more of that from the Neophoenix.
It has been pretty stagnant. Let's see if they continue to have that fluidity you're looking for. Yelovach, jumper short, one and done.
And you don't want to see that right off that dead ball situation if you're a San En fan. You want to see a lot more ball movement, a lot more off the ball movement as well from the other players.
Still a lot of time in their shot clock. Now they got to make their move. It's at 4. Hoist up a 3 and it works. Another 3-pointer here for Tokyo.
And you know, the Alvark are just shooting the lights out here in this game right now. I think they've had like 10 or 11 threes already as Yelovats makes his own triple from beyond the arc.
Badly needed 3-pointer there. The first 3-point basket for San En.
And that outside shooting has really been so far the biggest difference maker in this game, Anthony.
Already 8 3-pointers for the squad of Tokyo. Only 1 on the other end.
Man. And they are just, you know, they're waxing hot. They're shooting it from the corners, from the slots, and from the wings. If it's from beyond that 3-point arc, you know, more often than not, the Alvark's going to make it. At least that's how they've been shooting in this game right now.
It's a 15-point bulge. Yelovach, door shot on him by Kirk. Under a minute to play here. Kawashima for 3. Overshoots everything. Kirk playing point guard. Now they're going to use the clock. Will they try to set up Kirk inside? They hoist the 3. Daiki short. And now they're going to set for the final shot. And rightly so. At the worst, they will be down by 15. Talking about San En. Suzuki stops, moves to the side, gets denied. Great defense there from Daiki.
Good defensive stance right there from Tokyo Alvark to be able to end the first half on a positive note. If you're San En, it's okay. You're still within striking distance, down 15 at the half.
45-30 is our tally after the first 2 quarters. We'll be back for the exciting second half in just a bit. So we go on 5 minutes.
Yep.
Okay.
So
Okay. We'll just wait for the 5-minute mark. And a good sign, and at least Thirdy looks like he's okay.
yeah, he's on the floor.
Yeah. Welcome back to the arena, Tachihi, as we show you some of the highlights of the first 2 quarters of play here, as we saw Alvark Tokyo up against San and Neophoenix.
And we see that, San N started this game with a lot of good energy on both ends of the floor. But the moment that the second unit of Tokyo came in and started hitting those outside shots, that's when the complexion of the first half really started to change, Anthony.
So when you looked at it, Enzo, at least Sanin was able to stay in step, first 5 up against first 5. But as you said, when the bench came in, it is a different story because obviously more firepower off the bench here for Tokyo, the defending champions, up against Neophoenix.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Tokyo Alvark second unit, you got guys like, Yutaro Suda, Shota Tsuyama, and even Jones hitting those 3-point bombs. Remember that Suda is, like what you said in the first half, Anthony, he's the top 3-point shooter in this entire league, shooting at around 55%. 55% from beyond the arc, Anthony.
More oftentimes than not, if you shoot from 40%, that's a pretty good clip. 45 is exceptional. 55 is out of this world.
That's true, and he's hit I think 2 out of 2 from beyond the arc right here. Tsuyama also 2 out of 2. Kojima has hit 2 threes as well, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So many cylinders are clicking for Tokyo right here. But again, San In with a lot of comeback mechanics here. Yellowvat has been having a decent game. Kyle Hunt has been carrying this team so far after one half, and Thirdy Ravena has had a pretty energetic start to the game. Hopefully that injury towards the end of the second quarter is not going to hamper him too much as we start the second half.
Right before the break, we did see Thirdy running from side to side, and he was jumping also just to see if he could put pressure in it. And it looked like he could put pressure in it. As we take a look at some of the numbers, what numbers stick out for you here, Enzo?
Well, definitely that 3-point shooting number right there. Tokyo Alvark, based on this stat sheet right here we have on screen, they're shooting 67% rounded up from beyond the arc, and they're not shooting bad from 2-point range as well, 54%. So that offense has been really, really good for Tokyo. It seems like the momentum they had from yesterday's game has carried over, so to speak. And on the other end, even if San-En's numbers have dipped after that pretty good start to this game, they're still within striking distance. 15 points down at the half is not too bad. It's not good, but it's not the worst place to be. And when you got guys like Kyle Hunt and even Yelovats is scoring pretty heavily, then you're still in a pretty good shape to be able to try and rally in the third and fourth quarters of this game.
Well, what they got to do, Enzo, is that they've got to come up with a solid third quarter here. They cannot allow themselves to fall further behind because 15 points is already a big bubble to be able to climb out of.
That's true. And if you're the San and Coach Vicentich, you're probably telling your team, we got to set a goal for ourselves as we start the second half. We're down 15. Get it down to maybe 10 points by mid-quarter or by the 3-minute mark. If we can get it down to 9 or 8 points, even better. But like what you said, we don't want to start the fourth quarter with a deficit that's bigger than 15. That means we're continuing to play worse. So you want to see some good habits from your team. You want to see more energy, preferably the same kind of intensity that they had when they started this game, and maybe eat into that deficit, get it down to about 10 or 8 points after this third quarter, and they're still going to be in pretty good shape.
So it looks like Coach Branislav Vicentich will be starting out with his regular starting five to begin the second half. That is his most potent five. But the big question remains, can the second unit stay in step and keep San-En in the ball game come the fourth for the starters to be able to come up with a strong finish?
That's true. And we said in the first half, Anthony, that the starting unit of San-En was able to actually, in a way, outplay the starting unit of the Tokyo Alvark. But that second unit, led by Jones and Tsuda and Tsuyama as well, that's the unit that really gave the Alvark that spark to kind of pull away in that second period. And hopefully the starting unit of San-En will be able to regain some of that momentum and trim this deficit down to maybe 10 points in this third period.
Let's see also if Tokyo can continue to shoot 66% from three-point cut. If they do, I think it's lights out early here for San-En. Let's see what transpires. Second half now underway. First possession will go to the defending champions. Actually, technically speaking, the three-time defending champions. Two-time defending champions. Last year, they were the best squad in the abbreviated season. Kirk from the outside, in and out.
Alex Kirk, dangerous perimeter shooter, left wide open there. San-En has to feel a little fortunate that shot didn't fall for Alex Kirk.
So they got the stop. Can they get some scoring here? Kawashima inside, yes.
Good move, right? Good read, actually, by Hayato Kawashima. Pick and roll play right there. Good read. Seeing that the lane was actually wide open, that pocket pass was well read by the Alvark defense. Good decision to attack the basket.
Being very methodical once again. A lot of time on their shot clock is the Tokyo squad. Jumper hoisted. Thirdy with a rebound. And San-En looking good early here in the third. Thirdy with a quick burst. He will be blocked by Kirk, but it's going to be a foul already called.
His ankle looks like it's pretty okay, Anthony. I mean, like what you said, good burst of speed off the dribble right there from Thirdy Ravena, and he's going up against Shohei Kikuchi, who actually, that's his third foul already, if I'm not mistaken. So I think Thirdy's mindset right now is, when I'm in transition, even if it's a slow break, if I see that the defense of Tokyo isn't set yet, I can just burst past my man, especially because he's in foul trouble. And, hope it's just sorry that he missed that first free throw.
4 points for Thirdy Ravena in this ball game. And he's been a whole lot more active today as compared to yesterday. In fact, one of the things I asked him when I spoke to him, I said, it looked like you were open for threes in yesterday's ball game, but he was tentative. He said, Anthony, I just didn't feel it. And so I didn't want to hurt my team by taking bad shots. That's why he opted to take it inside. But still, the defense really collapsed and he had a dismal showing offensively. Inside once again is Kirk.
Alex Kirk with bully basketball again right there. I thought that was not the best pocket pass that he received, but he made the most out of it and so went up strong to get that basket.
9 points for Kirk. Put back for Yelovach doesn't work, but once again, Kyle Hunt around the basket with a tip-in.
And Kyle Hunt, he's been so invaluable for San in this game. If I'm not mistaken, he has, I think, 11 points, if I'm not mistaken, Anthony. So
Kyle Hunt has 11, correct.
11. He's been doing really, really well, carrying a lot of the load, especially on offense, for this San Phoenix, Neophoenix squad.
So far, the 1-2 punch for San really working because 9 points for Yelovach. But this is going to be trouble. The third personal foul on Kyle Hunt, and he will hit the bench. Ota will check in.
That's a bad sign, of course, for San, and he's been the guy carrying the offensive load for the Neophoenix with 11 points. Curiously, Kyle Hunt has 0 rebounds recorded, Anthony. So that's an interesting stat because he's going to sit on the bench right now. Ota's going to come in, who's a pretty decent rebounder, but without the size and the heft of Hunt, it's going to be extra challenging for San to contain, Alex Kirk and Georgie Takeuchi on the other end.
That's a good point, Enzo, but then I can't believe that he doesn't have any rebounds because just in that last shot he had, that was actually a putback. So that should have been an offensive rebound, at least there. And I know he had a couple of more offensive rebounds
in the first half.
Exactly. So he has at least 3-4 boards by my unofficial count.
Yeah.
But officially, as you said, he does have that big fat egg on the stat sheet. Inside, Kirk once again. He's asking for a foul.
That was a crisply run pick and roll action right there. I think it was Tanaka who fed him that pocket pass. And Kirk just really, really adept at getting any kind of pass whenever he's rolling or diving towards that basket.
Ravena for 3. Yes!
There you go. You want to see that if you're a San fan. Every time or anytime Thirdy Ravena gets going from beyond the arc, it just makes it tougher for his defender to try and read or predict what he's going to do on offense.
Again, you've got to respect Ravena for what he does. As he said, he didn't feel comfortable yesterday. He didn't want to hurt his team by hoisting up those threes. Today, feeling much better. And he's 1 for 1 from three-point country. But once again, another basket here for Tokyo. The lead is back up to 13 for the defending champs.
That's Seiya Ando with a nice pull-up jumper right there. Ando, curiously, Anthony, Ando played against Thirdy's elder brother, Kiefer Ravena. And I think the 2010 FIBA Asia Under-18 Championship. He was the leading scorer in that particular tournament. Talking about this guy right here, Seiya Ando.
Ando has also played in the PBA as an import for Meralco, so he is familiar with Filipino basketball. Daiki with a jumper. That's sweet.
And that's his move. Guys who watch the Japanese national team in international competitions, that's the move, Daiki Tanaka. 1 or 2 dribbles to either direction, and then he pulls up from about 16, 17 feet. Almost always money from that range.
Thirdy looking for back-to-back threes. That was halfway down. But here comes Tokyo once again, looking to build on that 13-point edge. They're calling out the play as they try to execute, and that's going to be an offensive foul called. That was clear. That was a moving screen.
Yeah, I think that was on Takeuchi right there. You look at his hip as he moves a little bit as Ando uses that screen. So quite an easy call for the referee to make in that particular sequence.
Checking bang right in. Yelovach can hit that. Doesn't that time. Another rebound here for Kirk.
His stroke, Anthony, really just reminds me of, like I said pregame, he reminds me of Nick Penisi when he's shooting that 3 from beyond. For the Filipino fans, of course, they know who that guy is from the PBA.
Daiki, perfect pass. Look at this. Kirk just grabbed that rebound, and he's going to head to the line for 2 free throws. But talking about Sanen, they just dodged the bullet there because they had a wide open Takeuchi for 3. He just wasn't able to hit it.
He could hit that 3. He hit one in the first half and left wide open. Again, Sanen quite fortunate, like you said, Anthony, that he didn't hit that shot. I thought that Alex Kirk actually may have gotten away with a bit of a push in that offensive rebounding sequence right there. And I think that's why Ota really hacked him on his way to the basket, on his way up.
Already 7 rebounds here for Alex Kirk. As he cans that first free throw.
And Alex Kirk, just, a really good stroke, good form when he's shooting that basketball. He can hit the three. Obviously, pretty decent free throw shooter as well.
Second free throw on the way, looking for his 14th point. And it's there.
And Kirk well on his way to a double-double right now. Like what you said, Anthony. 14 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 block already for Alex Kirk, former NBA player. And, San-En has been able to make some inroads in this quarter, but every time they try and pull that deficit down, Tokyo Alvark is able to make buckets on the other end as well.
Delazuno is now checked in. Thirdy trying to go. Yelovach. Yelovach for 3. Offline. Another 3 on the way. Short. It seems like Tokyo has cooled off a little bit from 3.
Law of averages seems to be catching up with Tokyo right now.
To the delight of the San-En fans.
Yeah. I want to see more movement from San-En, Anthony. The last few sequences down the floor, it seems like it was just 1 or 2 passes and then a pull-up jumper from the Neophoenix. And you're playing from behind. You want to see a lot more energy and aggressiveness and ball movement from your offense, just like the way they started this game. And I think that's the way they can really eat into this lead, not just by shocking shots from left to the right.
Kawashima inside, misses everything. Yelovach was there. That's a weird-looking baby hook, but
I was about to say, what an awkward-looking hook shot.
That looked like a prayer more than anything else. Kawashima with a steal. Waiting for the secondary break. Yelovach inside. He just barreled his way in.
Yeah. Well, Yelovach really, that's not his strength, running the basket in the break. He's not the quickest nor the most athletic big guy, but give him credit, again, for, trailing in that transition sequence, trying to go up as strong as he could, and a good foul given up right there by the Alvark, actually, to try and, force Yelovach to earn his points from the stripe.
We got a timeout on the floor. We'll be back for more action coming to you from the Arena Tachihi in just a bit. It's 55-40. Tokyo in the lead. First free throw for Yelovach is good. 4 minutes, 25 seconds remain here in quarter number 3.
And I
10
think
points already
Yelovach's
for the big man. Go ahead.
Yeah, like what you said, Anthony, I think Yelovach's already with a double-double. That free throw makes it 11 points and 11 boards for him already. So he needs to continue carrying the offensive load because, as long as Kyle Hunt is still sitting warming that bench because of foul trouble, the San-En's going to lean on Yelovach, maybe Suzuki, and definitely on Ravena as well for their offense.
This is the lineup that Coach Branislav likes to go to. He has Yelovach there in the lineup together with 4 locals.
That, I think, is a foul on Ota right there. Not the best defensive stance from Atsuya Ota in that particular sequence. And I think that's his second foul already in the game.
Confirmation, it's third.
A third foul already. There you go.
So the backup center's in foul trouble as well, and they're going to try to pound it inside. Why not? That's going to drop.
And that's good recognition from Jones in particular, knowing that, Atsuya Ota was already in foul trouble, and Coach Luca actually asking for a foul as well in that particular sequence.
I wouldn't be surprised if they go right back down inside to Jones on their next offensive set. But San En now needs to be able to score a basket. They're still down by 15. Kawashima, yes.
I think Kawashima already with 5 points in this quarter. He's been a bright spot right here for Coach Vicente to the Neophoenix.
Where does Tokyo go? They were trying to attack the defense of Ota. Here comes Sanen inside. Kawashima. Yelovach with a putback.
Good trail job again by Yelovach. I thought that was not a very good back pass right there from Sanen, but good thing that the big guy, just like before, was running the break. Good trail job from Yelovach.
The lead is down to 10. Jumper from the wing is not going to work. Suddenly going cold. The offense of Tokyo. Can Sanen take advantage?
And this is what Neophoenix wants. They're down by just 10 points. Cutting it down from 15 at the half. They have good momentum on offense. Let's see what they're going to do.
Kawashima, their creator. Looking for space. Hoist up that long two. Short. They got an offensive rebound. Yelovach for three. They're asking for a foul. Sanen is none given.
I thought that shot by Yelovach was a little too hurried in that last sequence. But I think, like what you said, I think he was actually fishing for the foul more than anything else. But anytime you do that, you actually run the risk of not making the shot and not getting the call as well. And that's exactly what happened to San in that sequence.
Well, the referees did not oblige with a foul, and quickly down the other end is Tokyo. Just a sideline inbound as they try to protect their 10-point lead. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining here in the third. Here comes Thirdy Ravena.
Yeah, Thirdy's coming back in. Hopefully he and Yelovach, and if Kawashima's still in, I think Kawashima has been a good spark for San in the third quarter. We'll see how this combination goes for Coach Vicente.
That's a foul there in Terazuno. Not a good foul, really, because there was just no danger to attack the basket from that far out.
Yeah, that's true. And I think that may be the fourth team foul on the Neophoenix, if I'm not mistaken.
You're correct. Trying to attack inside. Baranski. Fall away. Yes.
And you just gotta love the recognition, the level of recognition that the Alvark's players have for their matchups whenever they're going up against a smaller player or a player with foul trouble. They know exactly what to do.
Every time they go down for an offensive pattern, they do have something in mind. Terazuno with a 15-foot jumper.
Well, good recognition right there by Terazuno. He knew that his defender was actually trailing him after the screen. So he knew he had maybe like half a second to be able to hoist a pull-up jumper. He did exactly that. Good thing it went down for San En.
Shot clock is now at 7.
Oh, travel. I thought that was a travel right there.
It was clear to travel. The referees missed it. Missed shot picked up by Okada. And here comes Terazuno. Looking for Thirdy. Thirdy gets stripped. Quick hands there from Baranski. Trying to get the foul there on Ota. No foul call, but the basket will drop. Once again, back up to 12 is the lead for Tokyo.
And it seems like every time Jones sees Ota guarding him, he just sees red and just goes strong against Atsuya Ota on the low block.
That's got to be the game plan from Coach Luca for sure. Get the backup center out. Thirdy, a little bit too strong, but the ball will stay there on the side of the boys in white.
And even if Thirdy seems like he's okay moving around the court right here, I think that ankle might still be bothering him. I think that shooting rhythm, it was good in the first quarter, but right now it seems like he's a bit off in his shooting rhythm in this third period.
Hunt is back in the ball game. They need his offensive sock. Actually, a gamble here for Coach Branislav. No recognition there from the offensive set, and it's going to be a 24-second shot clock violation.
The mental lapse right there from the San and Neophoenix, and that aside from the 3-point shooting, that's one of the biggest differences that I've seen between these two teams in this game. The level of recognition, clock management that the Alvark has displayed is just noticeably better than what we've seen from San N.
And that's why they've got the better record, at least at this stage. Baranski from the outside.
Yeah. And Baranski, this time it's his turn to wax hot from long distance.
Final shot. Nice option here for San N. Yarazuno inside. The floater is going to be short. Can they put it up in time? No, they won't. Well, 3-point shooting still showing the way here. Shooting above 50% is Tokyo. And they still lead by 15 as we head into the fourth and final quarter.
Could they hear kaya all the shooting in the background?
Final 10 minutes of action here from the Arena Tachihi as the defending champions Tokyo host San and Neophoenix. Ravena. Issue a pass, it's stolen. Daiki inside with a finish.
And you really have to be very careful with those passes right there. Someone like Daiki Tanaka, who's a very, very wily defender, plays those passing lanes really, really well, reading it perfectly there. And of course, in transition, good finisher off the glass right there for Daiki Tanaka.
Okada was giving him the basket. There was a little bit of contact down low. And now Daiki looking to complete a 3-point play. Not the way you want to start if you're San En, who's already down by 15 entering the quarter. Now you're down 18.
Not the highest scoring game for Tanaka, but he's making his presence felt, Anthony, in so many different ways. I think he already has 5 assists, 1 steal, a couple of rebounds, I think 1 block as well for Daiki Tanaka.
At this particular point, Enzo, I don't think they need a scoring sock because they are up by 18. Ravena inside for 2.
Good move by Thirdy, and that's what you want to see more if you're Coach Vicentich from your Filipino import.
Showing the patience once again is Tokyo. Ando trying to create, goes inside, up against 30, a little bit too strong. That is going to be the 4th foul there on Kyle Hunt.
And I don't want to say this, but I will say it anyway, but I'm going to put that on Kyle Hunt. That's his fault too, because you have to box out Alex Kurt, especially on the weak side, and that boxing out from Kyle Hunt is not good enough against someone like Alex Kurt.
Well, that's what they call textbook basketball. You box out first and then you go up for the rebound. He went up for the rebound. He mistimed his jump and Kurt got that rebound. Is now on the line for 2 free throws. And Kyle Hunt will be playing on borrowed time, nursing those 4 fouls.
And the thing is, Kyle Hunt, he has longer arms, definitely more athletic than Alex Kurt. But Kirk's savvy, the way he just positions himself under the basket, it's perfect. He doesn't need to jump high because he's so good at boxing people out, so good at just finding the right spot to get that rebound.
The lead is back up to 18. How long can Kyle Hunt stay in this ball game? Ravena inside, nice incursion, just short. That shot bothered once again by Kirk.
I thought that was a good move by Thirdy, good aggressive move, just not enough English in that shot as he kissed it off the glass.
Looking to try to make it a 20-point margin. Once again going inside. Foul on Yelovac. 3-point play in the offing.
And that, that power combo on that front line of the Alvark, that has what has hurt them. What has hurt Neophoenix in this second half. If in the first 2 quarters we saw Tokyo hit about 10 threes, now it's just Jones and Alex Kurt getting down to work in that low block, working Ota, working Yelovac, working Kyle Hunt as well.
20 points, the biggest lead of the ball game. Tokyo could make it 21 with his free throw. It'll be too strong. Almost another offensive rebound by Kurt. Just couldn't handle it.
And he just has a nose for the basketball, talking about Alex Kurt.
Here's Hunt. Gets away. Kiss not gonna work. Suzuki with a quick move. Yelovac for 3. Look at Kurt just dominate the boards.
Just works so hard. And, even if you're up by 20, you see one of your top guys working as hard as Alex Kurt is. It's, the other players feed off of that kind of energy and effort.
3-pointer is down. This is now a 23-point advantage by the defending champions. Coach Branislav needs to talk to his wards. Seven minutes, 54 seconds remain here in this ball game. After the first period, it is a 1-point lead enjoyed by Tokyo. At the half, the lead was up to 15. At the end of the third, still at 15. And now, it is at 23 points for the defending champions, Alvark Tokyo.
Well, I thought that third quarter, San and actually played decent in that third quarter. It's just that, whatever gains they had was effectively countered by the late surge of Tokyo Alvark, in that, early in this particular period, which made a big run, blew this game wide open.
Easy layup once again there inside, coming from Takeuchi. The veteran Takeuchi at 35 years old, still showing he can play with A lot of these young cats. Suzuki, short.
And again, if you're a Sanen fan, you can't help but feel a little bit of frustration at some of these offensive sequences you're seeing, because most of the time there's very little movement of the basketball and away from the basketball. And again, if you're playing from behind against a team with superior depth, you have to be able to at least execute sharply or crisply on the offensive end of the basketball court.
Look at this in the replay. Kyle Hunt with his 5th and final foul, and it's showers time for him.
And I think he's just really frustrated right now. I mean, he carried Sanen in that first half, wasn't able to really get into any rhythm in the second half because of his foul trouble, and all the frustration just setting in now for Kyle Hunt.
Shot clock is at 2. They'll have to put this one up.
Good pass.
They're not going to beat the shot clock. They do. No, the referee say no. Short in that attempt from Takeuchi.
But I can't help but smile at the fact that Alex Kirk, still fighting for that rebound despite the fact that the shot clock buzzer already sounded. And again, that speaks volumes about the kind of energy and effort that is feeding off of each of these Tokyo Alvark players right now.
Yelovach. Step back jumper works.
Good individual move right there from Stefan Yelovats. But again, it's those one-on-one individual moves that we've seen a little too much of from Sanen in this game. And, the crisp execution, the good ball movement, that's what we've seen from the other team, the team that's on top by 21 points right now, Tokyo Alvark.
And right now they're content to just trade baskets. And why not? They've got a huge advantage. Seiya Ando now on the line for 2 free throws.
And Seiya Ando, what we were saying earlier in the game, Anthony, this is a guy that should be familiar to a good number of Filipinos. We said that he did play as an import in the Philippine Basketball Association a few years back for the Meralco Bolts. And, before that, he was a rival of sorts, I guess, of Thirdy's older brother, Kiefer Ravena, at the youth level in FIBA Asia competitions. This guy actually already played, I think, also in the Canadian League for Halifax. And he's bounced around, but he's found a home here in the Toyota Tokyo Alvark squad.
And he's helped them now to this huge advantage. Nice basket once again there from Suda, who has been so pinpoint with his shots.
And Suda has been, one of the best shooters in this game. He hit 2 threes in that first half. And, I think that was his first basket here in the second half. But he's been a big spark off the bench here for Coach Luca and the rest of the Toyota Alvark.
3 fouls already there on Suda. Suzuki forced the action there. Made sure that the foul was going to be called before he took that shot. And nothing Kojima could do really but throw his hands up in the air saying, I was trying to stay out of the way.
Well, Suzuki's a pretty good point guard in terms of being able to read what the defense is going to do, especially off those ball screens. What I kind of wish more I'd see from him is to try and be a better facilitator, I guess, on offense. I think he looks for a shot a little bit too much, especially when you got guys like Hunt and Yelovats and Thirdy Ravena, of course, as teammates. I think it would be a bit better for Sanen if Suzuki and maybe even Terazono would be able to look for the offense of their teammates a little bit better.
Let's see if Coach Branch-Lav can work out those kinks as the season goes on. 5:11 left to play here. 22-point bulge enjoyed here by Tokyo. That's
But in
gonna
the
be
same
fourth
line,
foul.
in the same way, Anthony. I mean, perhaps because Hunt is playing only in his 6th game, and Thirdy's playing in his 5th game. It might be more a concern about chemistry and being able to read off of each other's tendencies. And hopefully, like what you said, as the season progresses, it's a 60-game season per team here in the B-League. So as the season progresses, hopefully they're going to be able to get a better read off of each other.
And that's exactly what Thirdy told me yesterday after the game. He said, I expect even bigger things to come from me and my teammates, but don't expect too much too early because the season is still young. We don't know each other. We don't know our tendencies yet, but as the season goes on, expect better things. But at this point, they're down big, as it looks like Tokyo is on its way to another victory, looking for victory number 10 here this afternoon. Four minutes, 56 seconds remain here in this ball game as Alvark Tokyo looks to get to 10-5. Still some fight here in Sanen. They want to make this score respectable. Delavac, cross-court pass to Thirdy. Thirdy with a fall-away jumper. Not going to work that time, and here comes Tokyo once again.
And again, that shooting rhythm just doesn't seem to be there in the second half for Thirdy. He's done a good job going strong at the basket, but that shooting form, apart from that three he hit in the third quarter, that shooting rhythm just seems to be a little off for Thirdy here in the second half.
Baranski for 3 hits.
I think that's the second three already for Baranski in the second half. And again, the shooting of Tokyo just clicking on all cylinders right here. I think they're still shooting above 60% from beyond the arc, and definitely shooting above 60% from the field as well, talking about Tokyo Alvark.
And that great shooting has helped them to this big lead. A quiet reply there from Ota. Jumper from the side. But they're going to run out of time here. Looking at the history, Enzo, this is going to be the 12th time these two teams have faced each other here in the B-League, and Tokyo has won every single matchup.
It's just total dominance, total one-sided results between San-En and Tokyo. Well, Tokyo, of course, they've had so many good players play for this particular team over the years. Even in the old NBL before the B-League took root, Tokyo was already one of the best, deepest teams in Japanese basketball, and it's just no wonder that, and no surprise that it's been a bit of a one-sided matchup whenever these two teams meet. But again, hopefully that'll change at some point this season, because for sure these teams are going to meet again at some point in the B-League season. Hopefully, Thirdy and crew will be able to show a much better execution, get a much better rhythm, and play more consistently at a high level in both ends of the basketball court.
Enzo, at this point, let's try to educate a lot of the new followers of the B-League. The B-League, of course, was established in September 2016. It's a very young league. It was a merger, actually, between the National Basketball League and the BJ League, sanctioned by the Japan Basketball Association. And what else can you tell us about that?
Well, it was a bit of a rocky beginning for the B-League because those two leagues that you mentioned, Anthony, the NBL and the BJ League, for a lot of people, those two leagues were kind of like competing against each other before the B-League kind of was put in place to unite all these teams together. And we see now that the B-League is such a strong and big organization. They have 3 tiers or 3 divisions in the B-League, and where Thirdy plays right now, this is actually the top division or top tier, so to speak, of the B-League. Of course, they operate on a relegation promotion system like many other leagues around the world, and it's a little different from what we're used to in the Philippines because, of course, that relegation concept or system is not something that we see in our own leagues in our country. But it's a fresh take, and it's a very, very interesting kind of system, and definitely works in the context of Japanese basketball, where you have more than 40 teams that are members of the B-League. And, teams like the Alvark and the Brex, those were the teams from the NBL. And some of the other teams from the BJ League, like the Ryukyu Golden Kings or the Osaka Evesa, those are the teams from the BJ League, and they merged together to form this B-League 4 years ago in 2016.
Well, it's a nice format that they have right now because at least both leagues are now working as one, and with the united front, it can only mean good things for Japanese basketball all around.
For sure. And, I sat down with a couple of the officials of the B-League late in 2019, and I was just, I was in awe of the plans that they have, the social media presence they have, all the models that they have in terms of their business model and their competition model. And Anthony, the plans that the B-League has for the foreseeable future is something to marvel at. I mean, this is a league whose vision is not just to be an excellent professional league in the country, but to be a model league in the continent. And one of the ways that they're trying to reach out and expand their reach and expand their market is exactly what they're doing now by taking in all these Asian imports like Thirdy Ravena. And there's one other Asian import as well, a Korean import who I think plays in the second division, Yang Chae Min. So those are the small steps, but significant steps that the B-League is taking to be able to try and take root not just in Japan, but in countries around Japan as well.
Well, that's great to know. And, well, the B-League will now have their fair share of Filipino followers because Thirdy's in town. And when they see the action that they can witness here in the B-League, I'm sure they'll be here to stay.
That's true. And, a lot of people have said it back home, but, if Thirdy continues to play like he's been playing and really achieves a modicum of success here in the B-League, it's not far-fetched to imagine that he's not going to be the only Filipino considering this professional pathway in the future. That's certainly something, very interesting for a lot of Filipino fans and a lot of Filipino players as well.
I definitely agree, Enzo, 100%. In fact, I see in the near future a whole lot of our local basketball players will be making their way to the B-League. It's good money, it's very good competition, it's not too far away from home. It's only a 3.5-hour flight if you miss your family and want to come back to the Philippines.
That's true. And, one of the things I like about the B-League is we mentioned that it's a 60-game season. That's true. But there's also an off-season here. You don't play the entire 12 months of the season. So you have time for the national team, time off for yourself, or, to reconnect with your family. Like what you said, a very good point. It's not that far from the Philippines, talking about Japan. So it's not as inconvenient, if you want to call it that, as maybe the prospects of playing in other continents or in other countries as well. So it certainly seems like a viable option for Filipino basketball players of the same, would I say, stature or skill level as Thirdy Ravena.
Well, little by little, the landscape of basketball in the region is really changing.
Yeah.
As more and more the focus goes to Asia, and Japan would like to be able to take some of that limelight here with the B-League.
And, that's compounded by the fact that the Olympics next year are going to be in Tokyo. The FIBA World Cup in 2023 is going to be hosted by the Philippines and Japan and Indonesia. So like what you said, the spotlight, the basketball spotlight will very much be on our region, on the East Asia region, in the foreseeable future. And, you know, the time is ripe for all these players, all these talents, all these leagues in the region to really kind of open up and expand their reach and expand their influence around the different countries in East Asia.
We'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us here this Sunday afternoon as Tokyo looks to pick up their 10th victory to move to 10-5. Unfortunately for San and Neophoenix and their fans, they will fall further down the cellar at 3-13. And that is going to be our final tally here, 88-65. Another victory here for the defending champions as they move further up in the standings here, Enzo.
And that's exactly what they want. I think they have a chance now to move up to that 4th spot, maybe contend for that 3rd spot in the Eastern Division, talking about Tokyo Alvark. And for San En, yet another learning experience for Thirdy and his teammates. But that's fine. We still have a lot of games to go. I think their chemistry is improving little by little as each game goes. And even if they lost by a mile here, they had some good signs or good moments in this game. That start in the first quarter was actually pretty good. And if they can sustain that in their future games, they should be in better shape.
And in just a little bit, we're going to hear from the coach of the winning squad, Alvark Tokyo, and some of the players that will be chosen to speak to the fans and to everybody out there watching our B.LEAGUE coverage here this afternoon.
You got to take your hat off to Tokyo Alvark. You know, when they had a slow start, they didn't really let that phase them, even with, a couple of their players going down on the bench with foul trouble. So many guys stepped up for this team. You're talking about guys like Kevin Jones coming off the bench. I think he has about 13 points, if I'm not mistaken, 13, 14 points. And of course, Suda hitting those big threes as well.
Let's listen now to Coach Luca.
Good evening, everyone. Konbawa.
皆さんこんばんは。
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming and for cheering for us. It was really important.
本当に今日も、皆さん、チームをサポートしてくださってありがとうございます。本当に大事な試合を、勝つことができました。
Before the yesterday game, the team was in a difficult moment.
昨日の試合の時にも本当に厳しい状況の中で我々はゲームをプレーしました。昨日と今日。
And we needed these 2 games to recompose ourselves in a sense of winning and in a sense of achieving the game goals.
もちろん、昨日今日と練習をすることによって、自分たちのチームのスタンダードとあと最終的な目標、これをしっかりともう一度認識できることができました。
I'm commending all the players for investing themselves for the 4th and the 5th game in 1 week and playing really hard for Alvark and for you and bringing 2 victories.
本当に1週間、5ゲームあった中で、昨日、今日と、4つ目、5つ目を、2つ取れたこと、本当に、チーム全体、選手がよく戦ったと思います。
In these 5 games, we expected 5 wins. But the things was that we also had to do our reconstruction and inside the team to bring back the players. So some things were not solid, and we had a couple of difficult moments in Shiga games and Niigata games. And it's still going to be there, but the team reacted really well. And what you see tonight is like a composition of the team as it should have been from the day 1 in August, but it seems like we're going to start now with your help.
本当正直なところこのホームの5連戦は、5連勝を狙っていたんですけど残念ながら2つ、滋賀戦と新潟戦に負けてしまいました。本当であれば8月ぐらいから、このようなチーム全体で合流して、しっかりとプレシーズンを行ってから、開幕に臨みたかったんですけどいろいろな、状況の中で厳しい状況の中で今の、段階なんですけれども、今日の試合に関しましてはやはりチームが、ようやく 全員でプレーできたと感じております。
We have 2 weeks. Seiya, Daiki, and Joji will go to national team camp. They are preparing for future. We will rest a little, and then we will work hard to start with you on the 2nd of December in Toyama. There's going to be a strong fight for playoff, and there's going to be an Emperor Cup waiting for there. Hope everybody stays healthy and in a good mood, and I hope that we all keep going towards these goals.
2週間、試合がない、状況、11月の、第3週と4週、それと聖夜、大輝、ジョージがナショナルチームの活動に入りますので、彼らは本当にナショナルチームで頑張っていってほしい。残った我々のメンバーはしっかりと2週間補って調整をして練習をしてから12月2日の富山戦からまた再開しますので、そこに向けてしっかりと準備していきたいと思います。その後にオールジャパンももちろん控えてますので、残りのレギュラーシーズン12月2日からそれとオールジャパン、皆さんの応援が必要となりますので、引き続き応援お願いいたします。
Thank you all so much. ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございました。ルカヘッドコーチでした。では今日のヒーローを呼び込んでいきましょう。今日のヒーローはナンバーワン小島元気。さあ小島選手、前半は連続のスリーポイントもありましたし、スティールからの速攻というものも第4クォーターにありました。今日の試合振り返っていかがでしょうか。
そうっすね、微妙っすね。もうちょっとこう、なんかいろいろ1年ぶりでもうちょっとこうコントロールできたと思うんで、ちょっと課題ができました。
では我々からちょっと拍手を送らせてください。
はい、
お帰りなさい小島元気選手。先月からゲームには復帰をしていますが、ちょうど1年前は本当に怪我をしたばかりでした。この1年間少し振り返っていかがですか。
そうっすね、ちょっと今回のリハビリ結構きつくて、正直最近までもう走るだけでも痛くて、でもそれがこの5試合通してこうだんだんなんか自分の体になってきたなみたいな。でまたそのチームメイトの人たちの頑張りとかその声とかかけてもらって、本当頑張ってなんとか戻ってくることができました。はい。
ではこれからはどんな姿を我々に見せてくれますか。
そうですね、ここからちょっと2週間空くんで、そこでまた翔平さんと一緒に体調整して、でもっとこうキレのあるディフェンスとオフェンス見せれればなと思います。はい、
優しい先輩がたくさんいますからね。
優しいです。
はい、ではファンの皆さんに一言お願いします。
はい、これからもっとタフな試合が続くので、応援のほどよろしくお願いします。
ありがとうございました。
Well, he's talking about the fact that he had an injury 1 year ago and he had a tough rehab getting back. But after 5 games, little by little, he is getting back into condition. There's going to be a 2 weeks break, and so he will train with his teammates and hopes that he will come back even stronger. That is Kojima, who had 11 points here today. As you take a look at another one of their heroes, Kevin Jones.
It was a hard-fought game this weekend. Got 2 important victories. Now we can go into the break with a good feeling and get ready for our next games coming up.
昨日、今日と2連戦、本当に激しい戦いで2連勝できたことが本当に嬉しいと思います。これで2週間のブレイクの時にしっかりともう一度練習から、しっかりとチーム全然練習して12月の後半から戦っていきたいと思います。
ケビン・ジョーン選手もシーズン少し遅れましたがチームに合流してという形になっています。そんな中ご自身のプレーはいかがでしょう。
I feel like my teammates have really helped me since the hamstring injury and coming back and trying to fit back with the team, and we've been playing really hard and working really hard in practice, so I see that continuing for the rest of the season.
少しハムストリングの怪我で少し試合に出れなかった時期がありました。ただしチームメイトとしっかりと練習をこなしてからようやく今のところまでレベルが上がっていきますので、これどんどんしっかりと練習してもっともっと自分のプレーでチームの勝利に貢献できたらいいなと感じております。
ありがとうございます。ではですね、ファンの皆さんはケビン選手のやはり笑顔が見たいので、笑顔とともにファンの皆様に一言お願いします。
Thank you guys for coming out this weekend and supporting us, and continue to see you for the rest of the season. Thank you.
本当、昨日、今日とありがとうございました。引き続き今後の試合でも応援よろしくお願いします。
ありがとうございました。ケビン・ジョーンズ選手でした。では小島選手とケビン・ジョーンズ選手にはルークの背中にサインを入れてプレゼントさせていただきます。こちらはファンクラブの方限定となります。来場ポイントにタッチされた方に抽選でプレゼントを。
Well, the fans just love the smile of Kevin, and so he was able to give it to them after giving them a victory here. Kevin Jones giving them his pearly whites. So these are the two heroes, Genki Kojima and Kevin Jones. Kojima with 11 points and Jones with 14.
Well, they really did a good job today stepping up. Kojima, of course, hitting 3 triples from beyond the arc, and Jones, of course, 14 points. I think 6 rebounds as well for him. So both of these guys carrying a significant load for the Alvark, and because of their production, you know, Daiki Tanaka didn't really need to score a lot today. Even Seiya Ando didn't need to score a lot today because these two guys really stepped up big for Tokyo.
Well, you can see Enzo, Alex Kirk was his usual presence inside. He's a real stabilizing factor offensively and defensively. You can take those shots from the outside because if it misses, you know that Kirk's there to grab those offensive rebounds.
Yeah, he just knows how to carve so much space down there under the basket. 17 points and 14 rebounds. It's a huge double-double for Alex Kirk, and he did a good job of really kind of negating the presence of Kyle Hunt by getting Hunt into foul trouble early and often in this game.
Just to let all the fans of the B-League know that there will be a 2-week break, sort of like an international window like what football has when the players represent their respective countries. And there's that smile that they've been looking for from Kevin Jones, and he obliges.
And there's Kojima as well.
That's a pretty good send-off. You'd like to be able to go on a 2-week break knowing that you are on a 2-game winning streak, Enzo.
Well, definitely, and their coach mentioned it, Anthony, that they needed these 2 wins because prior to playing the Neophoenix, I mean, Tokyo lost 3 of their 4 games prior to this weekend, losing to, you know, the Chiba Jets, splitting their back-to-back against the Shiga Lake Stars, and then I think they lost against the Niigata Albreks as well. So they needed these back-to-back wins to be able to stay in step with the top 3 and 4 teams in the Eastern Division or Eastern Conference of the B-League. And I think they're in a very good spot right now as we approach the 2-week break.
So it's going to be time for some of the players that have injuries to heal up, and the time for these coaches to once again try to inculcate their systems with their respective squads, and that's where Sanen, I think, can take advantage of, Enzo. The fact that this 2-week break will have a chance now for Thirdy and the rest of his squad to get better acquainted with each other.
For sure, and my expectation is after this 2-week break, where I'm assuming that they're really going to hit the gym hard and get their chemistry going, is I expect a really rejuvenated and I guess reinvented in a way San Neophoenix team that should play with a lot more cohesiveness and a lot more crisp execution, especially on the offensive end, because defensively I think they were pretty okay. It's really that offense that really kind of needs to hit its stride sooner rather than later for the Neophoenix.
Would you think, Enzo, that's one of the main reasons why Thirdy decided to play even on that gimpy ankle of his, which he hurt in the first half, because he knew, regardless of whether he pushes it here in the next 2 quarters, the 3rd and 4th, and it flares up tomorrow, he will have the whole 2 weeks to really be able to get back?
I think it's probably something that he had in mind, or maybe his trainer probably whispered into his ear that, yeah, it's a sprain, but it's not gonna be a really, really bad one, not enough to keep you out of the game. So if you play, and even if it swells up a little bit, you'll probably have more than enough time for it to heal up again. But again, if you're Thirdy, and knowing him, his competitive fire just probably really kicked in. Remember that they were down by only 15 in that at the half, and they were in a pretty good position mid third quarter. They cut it down to around 10 points only, so they were in striking distance. But Toyota Alvark's defense and their shooting, and the fact that Kevin Jones and Kojima and Alex Kirk just conspired on offense, all those things just factored in to blow the game wide open late in the third period and heading into the fourth.
Now, how can you not win the ball game when you're shooting over 60% from three?
Yeah. I mean, the Alvark are already a very, very good team, but you compound that with your scorching three-point shooting, and it's just next to impossible to beat a team this deep and this good shooting that well.
Everybody contributing here, as you can see. Final numbers from three-point country for the winning team. 13 out of 23, so 56%
Man.
officially.
I mean, I don't know any coach who would not want to see that kind of shooting display from his team. Shooting 13 threes out of 23 attempts. I mean, they shot 56% from beyond the arc, Anthony, but they shot only 50% from the free throw line. I mean, go figure. But I'm sure Coach Luka would take this kind of shooting display any day.
That's crazy. It seems like they like to be able to shoot from further out, huh?
They don't want the easy open shots from 15 feet, Anthony. They want the 23-foot shots that are contested, that are worth 3 times as much anyway. So there you go.
Well, they did shoot 60% from the two-point country, 20 out of 33. So they really had good field goal shooting all throughout, except for those free throws, as you mentioned. That was the only stain in their mark, really. But more than anything else, as long as they pick up the victory, they'll gladly take it.
Yeah. And so many guys just contributing for Tokyo in this game. We mentioned Kojima stepping up big time. Of course, Kevin Jones as well, but also the number 1 3-point shooter in the entire league. I mean, Suda, he showed up too for this team. Baranski came up big as well for Tokyo. So many heroes in this game. We're talking about Tsuyama as well. So many heroes for Coach Luka and this Tokyo Alvark squad.
And that's really the mark of a championship team, because when your stars get bottled up by the opponent's defense, you need to be able to have everybody else coming up, picking up the slack, and that's exactly what happened here. The other players telling Coach Luka, we do deserve our spots on the floor.
That's true, and this is a loaded Tokyo Alvark squad, and I think they were really hungry heading into this, pair of games against the Neophoenix. Again, they were coming off a losing stretch, losing 3 out of their 4 games before this weekend. So like what Coach Luka mentioned post-game, they were treating this pair of matches against San En as a way to kind of rediscover who they were, what their identity was as a team, talking about Tokyo Alvark.
And you like the blend of Tokyo Alvark. They have some veterans in the 36-year-old Kikuchi, 35-year-old Taiuchi, but then they have a lot of young stars as well. And so this blend of experience and youth really led them to a victory here today. As we take a look at the numbers, Enzo.
Yeah, and you can see again the dominant performance from Tokyo, especially in terms of their shooting numbers. Just don't look at the free throws, but again, 56% from beyond the arc, 61% rounding up from inside the arc, from a 2-point range. And this Tokyo Alvark team just literally just shot the lights out from their home court here against the Neophoenix.
Points in the paint, you can see there, equal at 34 each. But again, the big story here today was the exceptional 3-point shooting put together by Alvark Tokyo, and that's why they ran away with the victory here today. Some more scoring leaders, go ahead.
Yeah, we see some great performances from the top 3 Neophoenix guys. 19 points for Yelovats right there. Thirdy, Ravena, and Kyle Hunt, despite being in foul trouble, still ending up with 13 points apiece in this game. On the other end, Alex Kirk, 17 points, but again, big double-double with 14 rebounds on top of those 17 points. Kevin Jones and Kojima just stepping up, combining for 25 big points. just propping up that supporting cast for the Toyota Alvark. It was the depth, the crisp offensive execution, and the lights out shooting that just, propelled the Alvark to their 10th win this season.
And that's the rest of the B-League schedule as we wind up our coverage here. Some final thoughts, Enzo?
Well, San En had a good start, and they can pick up from that good start if they watch the first 5 or 6 minutes of this game, and if they find a way to be able to be consistent with the intensity and the execution that they showed in those first 6 minutes, then they should be in better shape after the 2-week break. On the other end, just great depth and great execution for the Alvark. If they keep up with that, then I have no difficulty imagining that this Alvark team will be at or near the top of their conference very, very soon.
Great stuff, Enzo. It was great working with you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. In behalf of Enzo Flojo, this is Anthony Suntay saying thanks for joining our coverage of the B-League. In 2 weeks' time, we will see you. Till then, take care. Have a great afternoon ahead. God bless.